Hello, this is Peta Maganov from BACpillow. Today I'd like to introduce you to Peter Tate. We're going to spend a few minutes talking about the BACpillow. Hello there. How are you going?
I'm really well, Pia. How are you? Thank you for inviting to speak with me.
Jamie, I'm really, really excited to see you. So for everybody that's watching, this is Peter Tate. Peter has been a Pilates instructor for more than 16 years. And she runs her own studio in Kyneton, which is just northwest of Melbourne, about an hour's drive. She tells me that she loves to cook, which is fun. That's really cool. And likes to go for walks and enjoys nature. And what else did you like to do? So a little bit of reading, yeah?
A bit of reading, movies, and just being with family and friends and entertaining.
Sounds lovely. And, of course, doing Pilates. So
exactly.
I invited Peter today just to have a little chat about the BACpillow so that you watching can get a feel for what other people think about the BACpillow. And I'm very delighted to have her with us. So I'm just going to ask her a few questions, and let's start with let's start with generally, why did you start teaching Pilates and why do you like teaching Pilates?
I started Pilates through, I was trained in dancing, and we actually had someone come down, I was in Gippsland at the time, from Melbourne, who ran what was called Pilates Bar. It's not what Pilates Bar is now. It was Pilates Bar and floor Pilates. And so she was, I think, probably one of the first, dancers to sort of introduce a kind of idea of what Pilates was. And I was quite young. I was probably about 14 or 15. And I just really liked the sensation. So, other things, you travel, you do other things with your life. And then I sort of got into it because I just wanted to get back into some sort of movement. I kind of had left the dance industry and I wanted to sort of be a bit more mobile, and I didn't want to do retail anymore. So that's kind of, yeah.
And we caught up the other day. You told me that you've been using the BACpillow for quite some years now. So why did you start using the BACpillow, and what sort of advantages do you find with that?
I was actually thinking about this, Pia. I feel like I've always used it, or perhaps there was a concept there for a long time, and I thought about meeting you and could I remember you? I can't sort of pinpoint that time frame. It's too far back. But the reason I started using it is because it works, and it puts people in a position where they're very comfortable, takes a lot of pressure out, and it really helps them understand how to activate, because often when they're in a kyphotic position, they are in discomfort. So there's no way they can even activate their pelvic floor and transverses. So it just puts people at ease, That's how I find it, and that's how I approach it, and that's how I have my, studio set up, is that it's actually sitting there ready to go, and it's really an option for that person.
Right. So the people that you use it for are the kyphotic people, but you also found it really does help activate the pelvic floor and the lower abdominals. People kind of can relax onto the pillow, and then they just feel that they can focus on the muscles rather than
correct.
Yeah,
absolutely. And it's not always a kyphotic person. I mean, I'm not kyphotic. I'm actually the opposite, quite extended through my thoracic. But I find it very comfortable because of head and neck stuff that's going on. So just for me, it just allows me to relax the deep neck flexors and their back, the extensors. And also for people who have a lot of instability in their pelvis, it allows their top half to be in a correct alignment. And then they can put their focus back down in that abdominal section and then their lower chain. So I find it really, I use it 95% of the time. It's really rare that I wouldn't use it.
Oh, really good to hear. Yeah. So sort of thinking, have you noticed that some of your clients have seen like massive changes or really positive changes because they've been able to use the BACpillow? Can you think of anybody in particular that might have had an obvious change?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I could, say 10, 15, 20 people off the top of my head. But there's one person in particular who probably really struggled with, she had a very stiff and sort of very immobile, I would say, thoracic, probably thoracolumbar area. And unbeknownst to her, she actually had a lot of neck stuff going on, and she just found it so challenging to get the pelvic floor and TA connection. So we persevered, and once I got her, because some people are a bit like, oh, what's this? It's a strange shape. And once she started using it, she purchased one.
Okay.
And she wanted to sleep with it. And I was like, as in lay her head on it to sleep with it. And I was like, I don't know if it's appropriate. I said, I think it's really when you're doing your exercises. But, you know, for her, it was life-changing. All her neck and back pain really started to subside and she could relax. And I think that's the key, is that when you're doing Pilates, there are certain areas of your body you need to relax in order for the other parts to work.
Yeah, exactly how I use it as well. Yeah, that's really great, Peta. So just one last question. So who would you recommend the back pillow to and why?
Well, I would say the general public. You know, to be all honest, it's not just categorized with someone who has, you know, the head carriage forward. I mean, I think in today's world, like we are, we're talking online, we're often sitting and doing, you know, we're online, so our head carriage is actually naturally pushed forward more. So I think on a whole, most people's postures have changed over time, and I think that the TA pillow is appropriate for absolutely everybody. And the great thing about it is you can use it for side lying, you can use it for prone work, you can use it for, I put it underneath the rib cage, you know, to give some feedback. I do it for a lot of upper respiratory conditions and asthma and people who have had surgery on their lung for lung cancer. And, you know, yeah, so they can actually breathe back into that posterior lobe and feel the pillow. You know, so I would say really there's nobody who it wouldn't suit, unless, you know, you don't like the feeling underneath you, but you get used to it.
Yeah. There's a little bit of an adjustment to learn to use it sometimes. So some people find it really comfortable the minute they lie on it too. You found that? Some people they try.
Yeah. And some people are very adverse to it at the beginning, but they often are the ones who absolutely advocate for it, because they might say, oh, I didn't really like that. And then the next week they'll say, do you know what? I didn't have neck pain after my session. I actually felt my tummy this time. And I'm like, well, because you were able to be in a correct position, you were relaxed, we could actually recruit correctly. And it's such a great tool to cue into, you know, to drop your shoulders into the foam, draw the shoulder blades down and heavy. And, you know, when you're slightly rounded shouldered, you can't feel it. You actually can't feel the reformer bed, or you can't feel the trapeze because your shoulders are too far forward. So it just allows some tactile feedback.
That is such good. Yeah. Thank you so much for telling me what your thoughts on the back pillow, Peta. That was really lovely to hear what you have to say. I have to say I've had similar experiences. I have a client too that she was really resistant to trying the back pillow for a little while. And then I encouraged her, because I told her she'd find the transverse abdominis much more clearly for her workouts. And now she's the first thing she grabs when she walks into the room. That's
it. It's it. And I think when they have that experience, because it's difficult when you can't feel a connection, it's quite frustrating. And then you've got something else that's holding you back. If you can just alleviate that pressure, and, you know, I mean, we've trained for, you know, many years ago, and I think a lot of the younger and newer instructors coming in, I don't know if they're aware of it, how amazing this tool is. And it can be also in a group reformer setting. It's just as appropriate to use it. So I think it's very functional, and I think it's such a key tool for myself. And I encourage anyone out there who's sort of new to the industry and hasn't seen it to really give it a try themselves and then with their clients, because most people have something going on in their body at some point in their life. We're not, you know, we're highly changeable human beings. So it's not like we're just going to be feeling the same every day. And we have different things. We have children, or we have a different work situation, and that puts pressure on different parts of our body. So,
thank you again. So lovely to chat with you about the back pillow. That's really, really good. Thank you so much, Peta.
You're so welcome.
And thank you, everyone who's watched the video. So nice of you to join us. And if you want any more information about the back pillow, please email BACpillow@gmail.com and we'll send you some information, or go to our website, BACpillow.com.au. Thanks again for watching, and thank you again to Peta. Lovely to talk to you.
You're welcome. Bye.
I want to say hi. That was fabulous. I actually stopped the recording. I just got on.